definitely not about, yes, it has a connection with the Royal Enfield Thunderbird and the Triumph Tiger. So I'm going to invite our guest for the day. Sir, can we have you here?
Sorry.
Hi Savio. Hi, thanks for having me. Hello, hi guys, what's up? How are you guys doing? Very nice to see you all making time and meeting us this Sunday evening. We had motorbike today, and yeah, Savio, what do we have? What do we have for everyone?
Okay, so Sagar, as some of you know from the motorbike handle, and those of you from Shark Tales know Sagar more so by his Sharky Shark Tiger. However, for very few followers on both ends, what you all may or may not know is that he also used to own a Thunderbird. So today he's going to tell us about his journey, how he transitioned from a commuter or a cruiser on a Thunderbird to a Triumph Tiger. So to begin today's session, I have a very common question, as most people, the introduction part. So, Sagar, tell us about yourself. Just a brief overview.
Alright, so my name is Sagar. I run all the handles that you know of. I'm going to put them in the description, everything you will see. Okay, so I, as everyone else and the world, studies, makes a career, and so did I. I had a successful corporate career for about 8 years. At the end of which I kind of felt a very major stagnation in my life. You know that okay. So it gets really boring, you know, sometimes because you're doing the same thing day in day out, nothing is changing. And all through there was something that held on, and something I always did was I keep saying this, 5 minutes on a motorcycle and the smile is back up, you know, like even if it's just around the corner. But yeah, so that is pretty much me, yeah. From a corporate slave to now a slave to my dreams and passions.
So, sometime in the past, what we understand is that 100 meters of sliding on black ice and you land up where you are today.
Okay, so the black ice story is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so the black ice story is practically a story about how the Shark Tales and why the Shark Tales came into formation. So at the end of my career, I decided to take that whole leap. Bas bahut ho gaya, I'm going to leave all this, enough is enough. And I have to do what I like doing. I at that point owned a Thunderbird of 500, and I took that and I left from my hometown here in Pune, and I said I'm going to go to the Himalayas, I'm going to do it alone, and I'm going to do it as well as I can and have fun with it. And obviously you're not smart enough, sometimes you think you're really smart but you're not, and weather and everything else is the major thing. But anyways, so I find myself leaving from Leh and heading down to Manali, and we crossed through a little place called Sarchu, which is a really high altitude space where a lot of disorientation and fatigue, dehydration, everything just comes together in that one place. And post which you have a place called Bara Laksha Pass. The story is literally about this one patch of road that is literally so scary that it's going to send shivers down your spine on a normal day. And I happened to be there when it was snowing, and I remember I was on my Enfield and I'm riding and I see this whole bit of slush, of melted snow, the sun is coming through, so the snow is melting, but the air is cold, so it's freezing the melted snow all over again. So that forms the whole concept of black ice, because you don't know if it's water, if it's ice, if it's slush. Until you're on it, you're not going to know. And yeah, another key feature of that story was that when I left from Leh, my rear brake just stopped working. Okay? It had no bite. So at any point, if I jammed my rear brake, it was not going to work. And yeah, I find myself coming back to the black ice, I find myself on it and I panicked, okay? And I jammed the brake. The rear brake has no bite, the front brake does. And so, as expected, the bike just slides away from under you. It just goes. And yeah, I was doing okay, I wasn't too fast. Maybe 30-ish, 30, 40. It's snow and ice, you can't go fast. And yeah, I slid I was on the floor and I could see my bike slide away from me for a good, like at least 180, 100 meters or so. It just it kept going and going and going. And yeah, I crashed against this. It's like it's a turn, okay? It's a turn, it's a left turn. And approaching the left, as I've fallen here, I see my motorcycle going ahead towards the left turn. And I find myself on the corner, I kind of crash into something and I pass out. So I don't know how long it was that I was passed out for, but for my like unconscious understanding is maybe around 5 to 10 minutes where I was out cold. Okay? And then I wake up and I'm wondering, what is happening, what am I doing? Because it's the whole disorienting phase, and you fall. And I'm feeling this real crazy pain on my shoulder. And I get up with this whole angst and anger, like I've fallen. First of all, I'm embarrassed of falling myself. Then I'm hurt. Then it's hurting. It's cold. Everything is just going completely crazy. Sorry guys, we're going to take a small tea break. We're not going anywhere. Arbaz bhai, chai pila do yaar. So yeah, we believe in completely supporting here at Motorbite as well as in life, supporting small businesses. So if you do as well, please get chai from the right place. Thank you.
So just for those of you who come over to Motorbite, without chai from Arbaz bhai's hands, no conversation is
incomplete. It's incomplete. So Arbaz bhai, yeah, this is Arbaz bhai. Arbaz bhai runs a small little thing right around the corner, and he kind of does everything. Thanks, Arbaz bhai. See you. Bye. So yeah, coming back to the story of when I fell was so I wake up and I'm awake and the whole anger and angst has filled me up like crazy, okay? And I'm wondering, what's happening. I'm abusing the rock I find myself against. And yeah, I guess when sometimes you stand up and look around where you are, you realize the rock was really trying to help you. I stood up and I looked over, and I literally cannot judge how deep the rock was. Nor could I see where the ground was. It was snowing so heavily. So you don't know actually how deep it goes. If you go down, you're gone. It's kind of that situation. Yes.
There is one question that has come from Wanders_explorer. Okay. He's asking, "Ye dadi wala kaun hai with cap?"
Yes.
Introduce yourself again.
That's me.
Mohit, allow me to introduce you. This is Savio. Savio is here from Motorbite, talking to us today. I hope that answers your question. Alright, so yeah, coming back. So I get up and I look over this edge and I don't know, what's going to happen, and I start to understand and realize something, Firstly, I was very grateful for being alive. Yeah, that was the first thing, because I knew I was it. That day would have been it if it wasn't for that rock. The second thing I realized was, after that whole overwhelming, pressure, angst, anger, everything fades away, is this little bit of calm that comes over, It's like, I think the most cliche way of saying it is like an extra body thing. I don't know, what's it called?
Out of body
experience. Like, out of body experience. I could look at myself. I was standing, it was really, if someone had a drone and knew how to use it and took a picture that time, it would have been $1 million picture, because I was standing at a left turn, a corner with valley at one side, the road going at one side, my bike on the floor somewhere further away. And if someone saw my face through a helmet and a white, full open visor, would see that I was fucking smiling at the right time, as well as, I'm very sorry for the language, I was smiling and I had tears in my eyes because I could see myself there, And I was like, hey, this is it. This is the most alive I have felt in quite a while, And yeah, that it is. And that day I decided that this is going to be my full-time passion, profession, hobby, whatever anyone wishes to call it. I would call it life. Life.
We have one more comment saying from Wanders_explorer. अब तो पक्का पुणे आना पड़ेगा.
Definitely, Mohit. Looking forward to you coming here.
We have one more comment from Rental Motorbike Vietnam saying, "I like your bikes." We'd like to thank you for liking our bikes.
Yeah,
we have very big collection here.
Love to Vietnam. I will be coming there soon. So if you are on my handle at this point, please drop me a message on the DM so I can reach out to you. Because I want to explore Vietnam and I want to do a rented motorcycle. So yeah, let's do this together, It'll be fun. Thank you so much.
And just for those of you tuning in case you're wondering who is behind the camera, so we have behind the scenes, behind the camera, Mayur. Thank you, Mayur, for assisting us over here.
You're welcome.
And more on Mayur in our next session. So moving on, the next question that we have for you is, you slid off from your motorcycle. तो आप मौत की मोड़ पे खड़े थे और आपकी जिंदगी 100 मीटर आगे निकल चुकी थी. And you are like, I have found life.
जी बिल्कुल.
So उसके बाद you upgraded to a super bike.
Yeah.
What motivated you to upgrade?
Okay, so there. Okay, wait. So I was from a regular motorcycling class A, where we have 400 cc's, 500 cc's, classic motorcycles, hyper rides, whatever you want to call them. Okay, but they're not super bikes. So I finished after this whole black ice thing happened. I made my way to Nepal, and then I made my. So this is a whole 2-month tour that I did, and I kind of went until Nepal, Mustang, everything, and I came back home. At the end of it, when I reached home, my bike had kind of given. It was like now it's aged, it's done. It had given up. So I was looking for an upgrade. I wanted to change my motorcycle. A superbike concept, I think there are a couple of kind of people who buy or who ride superbikes. There's some people who buy superbikes and there's some people who ride superbikes. And there are two kind of people who do it. And for me, the decision of a Tiger and the superbike itself was not speed, not power, was two things: safety and comfort. I count these two things as the epitome of motorcycle riding. If you're safe, you'll ride longer. If you're comfortable, you'll ride harder. So yeah, like if you're comfortable and you're safe on your motorcycle, it's the best motorcycle for you. So for me, it was the Tiger, and that's how I chose that for myself. Okay, sorry.
So, what happened to the Thunderbird?
Oh, Thunderbird is living and well. She is. Okay, love is love. No matter how shiny new things are, old things always have a place in the heart. So I said the Thunderbird lies still in my garage. And if some of you might not be familiar with the Thunderbird, some of you have been here from the Viper Sexarella days, okay? So yeah, you guys have been there since then, so you guys know her. So my Enfield is called Sexarella. I know it's a very controversial name, but it's fine. I love it. That's her name. She's grown into it. And a lot of character to that bike. I've done too many things on that bike. I've broken that bike multiple times. And yeah, it's always had my back, so I cannot get rid of it. However, it does lie with me as a part of my garage and literally a memento of pride.
So we look forward to your Thunderbird next time.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, you had a Thunderbird 500, right?
Yes.
So like 40, 50 mileage, 20 liter time. Now you're on a superbike.
Yeah.
Barely 10 or 15 and
19
liter time.
Yeah, 19 liter time.
And lots of expenses on spares. So
Yeah.
how are you able to change your mindset from there to there? How
Okay.
What is it that?
All right. Yeah, the mindset is a major thing. Okay, being okay with first getting an expensive motorcycle, and second being okay with spending the amount it requires to maintain that motorcycle is something you have to be ready for. It's something you really have to be ready for because things aren't cheap. Okay, and the better the product you are going to use, the more it's going to cost to maintain, upgrade, keep it at par, and yeah, because it performs that well. So yeah, you need to be. It's a complete mindset change. It's expensive, I get it, but yeah, can I be very completely candid? I chose the Tiger for another couple of reasons as well. Okay, first I found the Tiger to be very economical on my pocket. All right, it's a nice 19-liter tank. It gives me a 350 to 400 kilometer range on a highway. That's more than my Enfield ever gave me. So that's good on average. The quality obviously is spellboundingly different. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, and okay, I'm okay with spending that money on the Tiger and maintaining because it takes care of me. If you take care of your motorcycle, it will take care of you. So you agree, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like if you manhandle your motorcycle, it's going to manhandle you. It's like a girlfriend or a wife. You have to take care of her. So she can take care of you. It's a give and take.
That's nice. So, having said that, I won't go to age-old adage that says "wo chikna deti hai" and all of those things, and promise me you will not kill me and I will take care of you. You will take care of me. I think that's for people who do things otherwise. But what are the 5 best practices that you follow to becoming a supervisor?
Okay. So I like to start very basic. Okay. So the 5 things that I personally do. So I do a little check before I leave for a ride every time. Okay. So if it's a small ride around town in the morning, you're waking up and you're going for chai somewhere, regardless of being a tour, maybe one day in a 20-day tour, one day in a 6-month tour, process is the same. Alright, so what I do is I wake up, I first check the tire pressures on my vehicle, then I check the oil levels on my vehicle, then I will check if the chain is tight enough, loose enough, lube, clean, etc. Then I will check the brakes, and last thing I will check is the fork. Because these are the things that are going to make or break your motorcycle and your riding experience. Let me break it down to you why I do each of these things. Okay. So I have a rimmed spoked wheel. So I don't have alloy, so it really doesn't matter so much. But however, I like to keep my rim undamaged. So it gives you a better ride experience. So I check the tire pressures for first that purpose. Then I'll also, while I'm doing it, I'll check for punctures and damages, tears, rips, shreds, chicken strips. A lot of things happen to tires when you're riding. I will check for that. And I'll see for missing spokes, damaged spokes. That covers all of that space. Then I check the chain because that's going to drive your wheel. That's the kind of linear power that you're going to get, how the power is delivered, and to avoid any accidents. So chain is second important. Third is brakes for me. Brakes for me is to check if everything is engaging, because brakes are to save your life and also to make it a safe journey. So yeah, brakes is very important. There's no doubt in checking the brakes. Rear brake, if you ever send the stand, pop it up, rotate each wheel, press the brake, takes a second to do, literally a second to do. Check if your brakes are working. Fourth thing rather, is your fork. The rear, rear not so much, we don't know, it'll be difficult for you to check on the fly. However, the front fork, you can easily check. What I like to do is, I like to twist my handle on each side and press down to see if the movement is clean. If there's an obstruction, means there's something wrong with my fork or my suspension. That gives me a clear indication what is happening in the front. And last thing is oil. Obviously, you need engine oil. You need good quality engine oil. So yeah, check on that too. If you're running low, top up. If you can't find the quickest way to, I normally carry an extra liter of engine oil just with me. I've never needed to use it, but I just carry it for safety, just in case you do need it. Yeah, those are the 5 checks I do.
Great. So apart from that, if you look at the mindset aspect, so how are you one of those people who don't go on a forum and say, I have a problem with my bike. What do I do?
Oh, okay.
How do you keep yourself, happy and away from those kind of situations?
Yeah, this way it's a simple. I believe in ikigai. Okay, if you can't fix it, accept it. It'll fix itself. Yeah, it's not completely true. But yeah, if you can't do anything about it, why stress about it? And if you can do something, well, just go do it. Now that's the way I stay happy. If something is like, I came around to motorbike a couple of days ago. I remember Mayur. I had an issue with my visor. So on the Tiger, you have an adjustable visor that goes all the way up to aid in the wind buffing and the dirt and mud and stones. That's adjustable, so it goes up and down, right? So yeah, like someone else would be like, oh God, it's going to be expensive. What do I do? I just get I would look for a solution. I'm a solutions man. I don't mind putting physical effort into doing things. So that's one key aspect if you want to kind of take down the maintenance cost of a big bike. You have to be really out there, look for solutions, try different things, and that's how it's going to work. But if you're going to go to a showroom and just replace it, then you just, if you can, it's perfect, great for you.
Great. So it was nice talking to you and having you over.
Thank you so much
for accepting our invitation.
Oh, thanks, Ajay.
So we will have a few more interesting conversations with Sagar. Soon stay tuned to Motorbike and to Shark Tales as well. And we do have a question for the day. So shall I go ahead and give
Yes, please.
Okay, so before we go ahead with the question for the day, I would like to congratulate Kiran Rao on winning our quiz for last time. And this time around, pay attention people, Steve McQueen rides a motorcycle. What is the motorcycle? If you can get down to make, model, maybe a year.
Year is important, okay? Come on, you got a better contest, you have to give the details.
So, post a photograph of the actor with the motorcycle in your stories, and do not forget to tag Motorbike and Shark Tales with your answer in the caption. With me, we have got behind the scenes Mayur.
Mayur, can you come ahead? I'd like to introduce you all to Mayur. We're an integral part here at Motorbike, and he's been helping us out behind the camera. Mayur is also COVID friendly. Look at him.
Hi guys.
Thank you, Mayur. Thanks for helping us out.
So, thanks for watching, and wish you guys a great evening and a great week ahead.
Super. Cheers, guys. Take care.